All right, guys, so today what we're going to be doing is talking about chalk. For those of you who've been climbing for a while, using chalk for a while, you know what you like. But this one's going to be for those who are kind of starting out, trying to figure out why there's all these different kinds of chalk, what the difference is, and what's behind the packaging when we get them open. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is this guy. This is a refillable chalk ball. What's in here is it's just a nylon little sock kind of thing, and there is fine ground chalk inside it. I have mine here in my chalk bag. This is a ball that's going to work really well in a route climbing chalk bag. So these are the kind that we can strap around our waist and we can carry with us on the wall. Chalk ball is really nice for this situation because when the ball is in there, I can reach in, I know there's something there, I can just give it a squeeze, and I have a good amount of chalk on my hands when I come out. Some people like to put loose chalk in here. My preference is that we have a ball, so it's just something to grab and you're not dumping it out as you're pulling it out all the time. So the nice thing about the Sattva chalk ball is that it is refillable. So we can open it up, and when this runs out, we just fill it back up again. That's when we're going to be using this powdered chalk to fill up our chalk ball when it's empty. So that brings us to loose chalk. Loose chalk is what we're going to find in our bouldering bags. So when you're bouldering, you're not going to be bringing a chalk bag up with you all the time necessarily. So the big boulder bag at the bottom is really nice to just hold a lot of loose chalk in it. Some people, including myself, like to have a chalk ball in here as well, just for something to grab, but that's kind of a preference thing. When we are choosing loose chalk, we have two different options here from Sattva. We have the crushed chalk and the powdered chalk. So the crushed chalk is going to look like this. You can see it's got larger chunks in it. You can kind of crumble them up. Kind of nice to reach in and grab and crunch them up, rub our hands together. We always want to keep all that loose chalk in our chalk bags so the gym employees don't have to vacuum it up all the time. But crushed chalk kind of looks just like that. The other one that we have is the powdered chalk that you'll find in the white bags here. I have it in this boulder bag. You can see in here, it feels a little bit more like flour. It's the same thing as crushed chalk, it's just been in the blender longer, essentially. So get that stuff in, rub it on your hands. At this point, these two are the same thing. They're just a matter of hand feel is where we lay on these. The powdered stuff, some people think it kind of feels a little bit funny. The crushed stuff, some people find it doesn't coat your hands quite as well. It's a preference thing, but that's what you're going to expect when you open them up. So, which brings us to our last kind of chalk here, and that is liquid chalk. So it looks like this. What it is it's chalk suspended in alcohol. So you may have noticed we've been pushing liquid chalk during the COVID pandemic because it has some sanitizing properties on it. So it's giving us a little bit of extra protection while we're climbing. So I've got mine here. Give it a good shake because it tends to get kind of gumped up. Get a little bit on my hands there. And then when I rub that in, it's going to go on liquid. Then when the air hits it, it's just going to dry and leaving a nice thin layer of chalk on my hands. So some people use this exclusively, works really well. Some people prefer not to have to do all that every time they're going in. So they'll call this kind of like a nice base layer to start with. You get that base on and then you're kind of chalking up not quite as often when you have liquid chalk to start. So that's the 4 types of chalk that we have from Sattva. Hopefully that answers any questions you guys have when you're starting out, kind of decide what type of chalk you would like to use when you climb.